take over, and then after that, stop soldier suicide, and then we will give the room, because we do have other members who have announcements that they wanted to put up, and then we're going to go to questions and answers, and then upcoming events. Okay? And there you go. You're welcome.
You're amazing. I just want to give a shout out to everyone that's here today, everyone that's joined us virtually. We appreciate your contribution to the DC veteran community. I just want to welcome you all to our monthly roundtable, which happens every Thursday, last Thursday of each month. And also, if you want to follow us on social media or you want to receive newsletter, please visit us on ova.dc.gov. Follow us on Instagram or Twitter at DC_OVA. Fallon will go into our upcoming event, but next month we do annually celebrate DC Women Veterans Day, and we will actually have a panel, an amazing panel, coming to us of all women that have served and currently serving in different levels in the community. But just want to say thank you for being here. I know that it takes a lot to come out, have a conversation, but just know that we are here. So if you ever want to know what we got going on, call us at 202-724-5454. And as we say in the Marine Corps, Semper Fi.
Thank you, Tony. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to start by going in the room, and we're just going to do introductions. It's going to be your name, affiliation, if anything. Affiliation of anything to a military organization, and also
heard that.
And also what made you come to the event today. So we have a second mic right here. Robert, can you
So my name is Christopher Booch. I'm the Director of Education and Community Outreach for the DC Office of Lieutenant Advocate. And the reason that we're here is twofold. One is to basically help every veteran tenant that this is on in know where they can get legal advice and technical advice should they have an issue with their landlord. And second is big push that we're doing for eviction prevention. So in the last 2 years we had a pandemic, and that affected people in various ways. And our office, among many other legal mandates, is to help prevent evictions in the District of Columbia. With me is Christopher Lucas.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Christopher Lucas with the Office of Lieutenant Advocate, and I am also with the Education and Outreach Division. Formerly, I was with the Legal Division of the Office of Lieutenant Advocate, and we'll go into more detail, I guess, in some of that with our presentation. But as Christopher just said, we're here to actually service and help all tenants of the District of Columbia. I am a former veteran of the United States Marine, proudly, and I do have a special place in my heart, of course, so I'll make sure that I help veterans specifically.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Salim Adolfo. I serve as the chairperson of Advisory Neighborhood Commission 8C. I am an Army veteran, 8th Sustainment Brigade in Hawaii. I was a finance soldier. Some of the best times of my life. It was a very rough assignment being in Hawaii. I'm glad I could be here, and I'm happy to make my first meeting of the Veterans Roundtable, and I'm excited to see what resources that we can bring to the community, specifically issues around just tenant advocacy, because where I live at, more people rent than they own, so we have a lot of issues that are for people who are in need.
So I know it.
So thank you very much. And which way do I? Okay.
Do I come to the front of the class?
You can stay right there. Stay right there.
Hi, I'm Robin Walker Salas. I'm a Navy veteran. My whole family was Navy, all the way going back to, my grandfather was on the Committee for the Employment of Handicap, which is now internationally known everywhere. So I was born here in DC, I was stationed here in DC, and I am here in DC now to get my veterans benefits straight. Unfortunately, there's not clarity. So I'm really glad that this is here today. I have very unique situations that stretch the boundaries of job descriptions and programs. Always looking to create and make new things happen. So I'm a volunteer community liaison. So I bring benefits like the Vets Ride program to other veterans and to the hospital to spread that information. Last month we had about the employment career thing that is also I spread to. So in helping myself, I help other people because there's a lot of crisis out there that needs intervention. So Robin Walker Salas and Wounded Warriors Behind Bars.
Yes. Good morning, everybody. Saeed Munir. I got two things, surgery on my mouth. We are an independent media organization. Our whole job is to promote and show information that is needed by veterans. We do talk shows, we do drama series, we do commercials. So we're doing a whole gamut of teaching veterans media production, social media. We have a facility, and we're right now ready to come into the DC area. We're in Maryland. We have operation in Maryland. We are airing in Richmond, Virginia right now. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And basically what's taking place is that
We'll give time for announcements at the end. We'll give you space for announcements. Just do your name.
Abdul Shahid Munir with the Veteran TV show.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
I guess we're doing introductions, right?
Yeah, just name, affiliation to military organization, and then what made you come to today's roundtable.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just here for information purposes.
Okay.
What branch
My
are you
name
to?
is Dr. Theo Epi, and veteran from the Army. So on the mic, I guess. All right, I'm Dr. Theo Epi, and I'm a veteran, Army veteran.
Okay, thank you
I
for
used to live
coming
for
on.
Belvoir.
Okay. Thanks for coming.
Hello, thank you all for your service. My name is Beverly White. I am the daughter of a veteran, and I have a small business. It's called PKW Transformation Group. What got me here today is I have been working right before the pandemic hit on a solution around resiliency and suicide prevention. One of the things, my dad is deceased now, but I wish there had been solutions for him, and he was never diagnosed. But I remember as a small child listening to him read the horrors of his nightmares. And this has just become something that's very passionate to me. In my business, we're really planning to pivot to try and support veterans and active military in the area of suicide prevention. So that's what got me here today.
Don, what was the name of the woman that just spoke? I didn't hear her at the very beginning.
Beverly White.
And we'll,
Yes, my name is Beverly White. Thank you so much.
okay. And then also, Jenny, you can go ahead and announce yourself.
Sure, no, and Beverly, you and I can probably have a lot of offline conversations after this presentation. My name is Jenny Seiler. I am an extremely proud Marine Corps veteran spouse, and I had the opportunity to meet Fallon at a networking event in DC, and we had such a great conversation, and she invited me to speak today, not only on behalf of the organization that I work for, but as a veteran spouse. I think it's an interesting experience, shall we say, and just another voice in the fight for supporting our veterans in active duty. My professional role at Stop Soldier Suicide is Director of Corporate Partnerships. And Beverly, to your point, we are the only 100% of the time focused veteran service organization on suicide prevention in the military community. So I know we'll have a lot to talk about after this, but just very honored to have the opportunity to share a little bit more about our organization with you all today, and really also what may become was to hear from all of you and what amazing things is going on in the military community and how we might be able to partner in order to make an even bigger impact.
Okay, next, Carolyn Gardner.
Yep, that's me. Sorry, a few microphone issues here, but hi, my name is Caroline Gardner. I work for the Veterans Curation Program. We are a temporary transition employment for veterans post 9/11 priority, and we are currently hiring, but we are also really interested in building our network of veteran opportunities. So this is a great resource, so thank you for holding this up.
Thank you, Clifton Lewis.
Thank you for the opportunity to join today. My name is Clifton Lewis. I am the Executive Director of U.S. Vets Washington, D.C. We have been participating on these calls pre-pandemic, but I just want to make sure that we have a presence. Also to introduce our new programs to the DC community departments. We have the new suicide prevention program that's funded through the VA, $400,000 a year program, some of our sister sites in Las Vegas and in Phoenix has also received a grant, and we're also expanding into the Richmond area in PG County. We have the largest transitional housing program here in DC, and we just want to reintroduce ourselves to the team and to make sure we're part of the collaborative effort as we service the veterans in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area.
Yeah, awesome, and thank you for joining, Clifton. And also at the end, we're going to also give time for our community partners to say something as well too and collaborate more.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Cynthia's next. Okay, Gabby.
Hi, yes, my name is Gabby Samaniego. I'm a former Marine and Army brat, and my older sister is also a Marine. I also work for the Veterans Curation Program, and Caroline and I were just joining in together to try to network and try to see if we can get any veterans in, or if you guys had any suggestions in that room.
Okay, Larry Green. Larry Green. Michael Thornton.
Good afternoon, everyone. Mike Thornton Senior here. Our company is Visionary Consulting Partners. We're a service-disabled veteran-owned small business and a husband and wife team, so we met in the Air Force. Our affiliation to the military organization, once again being fellow veterans, but also what brought us to the table is we support, through our company, the Department of Veterans Affairs now, with initiatives involving suicide prevention and some of the other activities. There seem to be some gaps in terms of services and benefits for our fellow veterans, and so our focus in joining the meeting here is to learn what certainly the district is doing and where we might be able to help and partner with others to close gaps and make sure the veterans receive maximum services and support. Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
All right, thank you. Next, Ray Bridgewater.
Yes, Ray Michael Bridgewater, President and CEO of the Assembly of Pet Work. We concentrate around technology and health. We worked with the first director of Veteran Affairs. We did a Veterans Day media campaign for the VA. So we work very closely with veterans as well as other populations in the DMV area. Thank you.
Thank you, and Jason Seacrest.
Hi, Jason Seacrest here, Lieutenant Colonel, Army National Guard, and Senior Vice Commander for American Legion Post 46. We meet at the University Club in DC, and been about a year since I've been on one of these calls. Kind of took a break from veteran stuff, but back here ready to re-engage and see what everybody else has to offer. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for re-engaging. And Walter, before you come on, I just want to say we do have your resources that you put online, and I'm going to give you some time after the presentation to present those, okay?
Thanks a lot. My name is Walter Elmore with the Access Housing Southeast Veteran Service Center. We are a transitional and permanent supportive housing program.
If anything becomes stressful for you, let me know, okay?
Is that somebody else talking?
Yeah, I took care of it.
Okay. I think I stopped where I said, we are a transitional and permanent supportive housing program for veterans in the Washington metropolitan area. My specific title is I am the event planner for Access Housing Southeast Veteran Service Center. So I just plan events throughout the year to support our veterans and their families. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank everyone in here for, just speaking up and saying something and introducing ourselves. It's always good to know who's in the room. Okay, and what it is when it looks at MOVA and the roundtables being presented, one of the main reasons is for us to just know as community members what's going on and to ensure, as far as our veterans, our family members, the community we serve, like we're accessing what they need and they have a voice in the community. So today, we're focusing on housing and what resources are out there. And also, since it is Suicide Prevention Month, we also have an organization called Stop Soldier Suicide, who is actually a Marine spouse who will give her story and background as far as her works in the organization as well, too. Okay, so as we all know, this month is National Hispanic Heritage Month. It's an important month from September 15th to October 15th in which we honor all of our Hispanic individuals, but mostly our Hispanic veterans. As you can see, we celebrated, Director Domingo went out and did the Fiesta Day Parade on Sunday, along with the Mayor's Office of Latino Affairs. And those are the pictures listed right here. And then our Hispanic veteran of the month is Deandra Jacobs. She works for the Center of Minority Veterans. She's been there for the last 7 years, and she's a 17-year-old Air Force veteran. So, and every year we try to highlight some veteran in the community that's on that specific topic as well. And last but not least, we're going to move forward. Navy veteran, Marine veteran Christopher Lucas. He's been a part of the community for a very long time. If you have any questions in relation to housing, he's been our go-to guy. So we appreciate having him along with his colleague as well too. So I'm going to give the floor over to you here now.
Okay. Thank you. So the presentation that we're going to be given real shortly. So basically, this is like the origin of the Office of the Tenant Advocate. We've been around actually since 2006, when I actually first started and everything started. We were formerly with the Department of Consumer and Regulatory Affairs. DCRA was the old name. They're actually changing. In 2007, the office became independent, and I actually like our chief personally, and I would say we have the only, I would say, director, or I'd say we have the longest serving director. She likes to say I'm her oldest employee, so I'm not gonna say that she's the oldest director.
She's been in the position the longest. How about that?
Well, she was in position actually, I think 3 or 4 months before she hired me. Our mission, the Office of the Tenant Advocate, provides technical legal assistance, other services to tenants regarding disputes with the landlords, to educate and inform tenants, communities about their rights, housing matters, and we advocate on policy matters as well. We also, I'm sorry, because I'm kind of paraphrasing them. We also have a real, I would say, strong emergency housing division as well. So I don't want to leave them out because they actually do a lot of the hardcore on the site type of stuff. Again, we're broken down into legal represent.
So keep on going.
We're broken into the 4 categories. We have the legal branch, which does legal assistance, advice, and representation. We have a policy branch, which of course, that is the advocacy branch with the government. And we have our branch, which is education and outreach. And then again, we have the emergency housing division. The emergency housing division, basically, I want to touch on that because even though it is a very important side of our agency, it is real specifically a type of thing that needs a response with that a third-party agency for emergency housing is going to basically activate us by contacting DCRA or DCRA one-to-ones, the fire department or the health department. We provide temporary hotel accommodations. We provide storage for up to 60 days. And we help coordinate services with tenants as well as with and between DCRA.
Sorry about that.
I definitely need to get a card or something from somebody.
Well, we put out what we put out here, and we're gonna give you our number.
Yeah.
I'll give you our number right now as well. Okay. Our number is 202-719-6560. We do have a very strong protocol, and so we ask that people, if you have individual issues, please call that number because that's the quickest way that you will be assisted by you'll be triaged and assisted by a case management specialist and or an attorney, depending on what the subject matter is. I'll be honest, one of the reasons we have a real strong protocol is because
a lot of people coming. Yeah, they do.
Protocol.
Yep. Yep.
Oh.
Okay, so I'm Chris Quick, coordinator for the Office of the Tenant Advocates Education Community Outreach Team. The last portion of our presentation is going to be on eviction prevention. This is because for the last 2 years, during the pandemic, a lot of people were furloughed, lost their jobs, and we're having really critical decisions at the end of the month whether to pay rent or to be able to do other things with those funds. So in the District of Columbia, a tenant may only be evicted for one of 10 specific statutory reasons. Now, the most common of those 10 are without a doubt, next slide, non-payment of rent and then a lease violation, right? So, but by far, these are the top 2 reasons for eviction. Now, all tenants being evicted for a lawful reason, with those 10 statutory reasons here in the district, must receive a written notice with various requirements, including the reason for the eviction. Now, the tenants who are being evicted again have the right to a written notice from the landlord describing the reason. So, generally speaking, again, that would either be non-payment of rent or for a lease violation. And then a notice from the landlord, basically.
Did the whole power go out?
Yeah.
Sorry, you can go ahead and move forward. I'll get back on.
Yeah. So basically, since it's us here, so basically the other thing would be a notice of the intent to file in court. So the first notice is going to be the written notice for the reason why you're being evicted. The second notice is the notice saying to the tenant that your landlord has the intent to file for the eviction. Then the third thing would be an opportunity to cure. And that means that if you're being evicted for a lease violation, you have a statutory period of time to fix whatever defects you did, right? So best example is you're not allowed a dog. You get a dog. That's a lease violation. So at that point, your landlord gives you their intent to file for an eviction, and that gives you the opportunity to cure that violation, which would be getting rid of the dog or moving, right? Then the last two things are every tenant has the opportunity to challenge the landlord's claim in court. That's procedural due process, and everyone's entitled to that. And then the last thing would be preventing the eviction by paying the full amount of rent owed with you being evicted for the non-payment of rent. Now, in order to evict any tenant, all landlords in the District of Columbia must go through the judicial system. Now, eviction diversion. If a landlord prevails, right, and if the landlord prevails and a writ of possession is issued in the case by a judge, then the court forwards that to the United States Marshal Service. In the District of Columbia. Hello. Okay, so we dropped off, I guess, at written. So tenants being lawfully evicted in the District of Columbia have to receive certain notices. The first notice is a written notice from the landlord describing the reason for an eviction. Like we said earlier, evictions generally are going to be for non-payment of rent or lease violation. Then the landlord needs to provide the tenants with a notice of their intent to file a claim in court unless it's for a lease violation. Tenants have an opportunity to cure lease violations. And the example that we just gave offline is, for example, if your lease states that you're not allowed pets, you get a pet. That's a lease violation. Then the landlord provides you an opportunity to cure it, meaning that you either get rid of the pet or you move. Then lastly, all tenants in the District of Columbia have the opportunity and in fact the right to challenge the landlord's claims in court. That would be procedural due process. And then preventing the eviction by paying the full amount of rent owed if the eviction is in fact for non-payment of rent. In order to evict any tenant in the District of Columbia, all landlords must go through the judicial process. It's not optional. Now, if the landlord does prevail in court, a writ of restitution is issued, and that writ of restitution is forwarded to the United States Marshal Service. In the District of Columbia, we don't have sheriffs or constables. We only have the Metropolitan Police Department. So then the law enforcement agency that executes writs of restitution and actually does evictions would be the United States Marshal Service. Now, it's very important, and we can't stress this enough, that self-help evictions are completely prohibited in the District of Columbia. Now, self-help evictions are basically when landlords, of their own free will, change the locks to a rental unit or remove the tenant's personal belongings without a writ of restitution and without the presence of Deputy United States Marshal. Again, those are completely unlawful evictions. If the U.S. Marshal Service is not there, that eviction is unlawful, and what tenants should do is contact the Metropolitan Police Department, and they should have some sort of document that gives them the right of possession to that unit. What could that be? It could be a water bill, it could be a gas bill, and ideally, it's a lease, right? So that would be the eviction process. Now, if you or somebody you know needs our assistance because they do have a legal dispute with their landlord, please write down, if you can, our tenant hotline, which is 202-719-6560. Any tenant in the District of Columbia may call our office for technical advice and or legal services. You can also follow us on our social media. Our social media handle, right, is at OTA and then the word at DC, and or visit our website. I do want to plug the fact that we have a YouTube channel, and the YouTube channel has tutorial videos on issues that are important to tenants. So for example, on the law of security deposits. Security deposit is 1 month's rent. If you don't get your security deposit back and there's no reason for that, we can help you get it back, right? And we also have extensive tutorials on the eviction defenses and the eviction process. So please visit our YouTube page of the District of Columbia Office of Tenant Advocate. With that, I hope that, Fallon and MOVA have our presentation, so if somebody missed a little bit of it, we can, that can be provided, but also we have these presentations on our YouTube page again, so please, if you have questions or concerns regarding your tenancy, review our tutorial videos, and also know that we are a free legal service for any District of Columbia tenants. Questions?
And for those of you that are agencies or organizations that have a number of people, we do come out in the community and to you to do these presentations as well as our classes. We will be having classes this fall, and we're putting together those schedules and those details as we speak.
Thank you all. Robert, you had one question?
Yeah, you know I'm going to bring up the obtuse question. Would this also include if one is in temporary housing due to the flood? I had a flood in my apartment in March, and I've been in hotels, and there's been quite some interesting situations.
Your real apartment was flooded?
Yeah, my apartment was flooded.
Then call our office, because then if you've been temporarily displaced, then you need the legal advice to be honest, you're gonna need the legal advice to get the landlord in court to, if he hasn't
Well,
given
no,
you
the landlord we're doing, and the insurance is just dragging their feet. It's the hotels that we're having the problems
So what
with.
program, so your temporary housing, ma'am, what program is that?
I'm not temporary.
So, okay, so the hotel that you're staying at, how is that?
My
your
insurance.
landlord? Your insurance is paying.
But the problem is the hotels are this and that and stipulating things like $100 a day. What do they call it? Incidental. So like to check in for 14 days, it's $1,400 to check in.
But does your insurance cover that though?
No.
Was DCRA involved at all?
No, that's why I'm bringing it. This is a very obtuse situation where they don't mind covering but when the hotels demand such ridiculous circumstances.
But there's nothing we can do about the hotel, because that's a private industry. What you're gonna really have to do in real life, you're gonna almost have to start at the beginning. You're gonna have to get DCRA involved. You're gonna have to get the court involved in order for the court and DCRA to compel the landlord to either get you the information of when things are going to be fixed, so that you can give that to your.
In case you might ask, Roland, I am not hearing anything.
Oh wow!
Ma'am, we can discuss your case.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
You.
You know, after because.
So if you can, Robin, they'll get with you after this, so we can, for the sake of time as well. All right. So next we're going to go into a presentation by Stop Soldier Suicide. And Jenny, if you can go ahead and take the mic, and everyone else mute your mic, please.
All right, Fallon, can you hear me all right?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I'm going to try and not make this too long, but and I do encourage if anyone has any questions, please stop me at any point. But as I mentioned earlier in the introductions, my name is Jenny Seiler, and I am the Director of Corporate Partnerships with Stop Soldier Suicide. I've been with the organization roughly a year, and full transparency, I was on my way to do a sabbatical to take care of we have 2 little kids. They're now 4 and 5. My husband came home from work, I showed him the job, and he said, I guess you're not taking a sabbatical anymore. And I said, that would be correct. That on this next, I guess I can move this slide, great. My husband is a post 9/11 Marine Corps veteran, served for 10 years, had 9 deployments in those 10 years, 6 of which were combat. So as I tell people, and a lot of you on the call know better than I do, he saw things and did things that I don't think any 20-something-year-old a young adult should do. And he is certainly my why and my motivation to do my job. I have the distinct privilege of presenting to different corporations across the country, because we do serve veterans where they are in all 50 states. We are not DC specific, although my husband and I moved to Charleston from DC 2 years ago. So DC certainly has a special place in my heart, but we serve all veterans and all active duty service members, no matter where they are. But from my seat, I get the opportunity to go into corporations and not just present who we are and what we do at Stop Soldier Suicide, but I like to think we're the catalyst to having potentially tough conversations just around mental health, the impact that mental health has in our workplace, and truly the need to have these conversations so that when people are suffering in silence, that we offer them help when they need it from the beginning and don't allow things to continue to fester. I was actually doing a presentation yesterday and shared very vulnerably with the group. My husband certainly has had his fair share of struggles. I know I shared some of this with Fallon when I met her, but there were so many warning signs at the beginning that I turned a blind eye to and didn't take seriously. And it's now kind of my personal mission to share those initial warning signs and what unique factors that impact veterans that I think all civilians need to be aware of. I think caregivers need to be aware of, and I think spouses especially, because certainly I didn't take things seriously until we were presented with a situation where it was no longer, we could ignore it. And I'm so blessed and happy that my husband is here today, and he's doing amazing, but that transition was beyond challenging. I don't even think there are words to express the challenge, and I know that all of you come from that similar experience or have a passion for serving the military community, can speak to that, and I'm just so honored to be here today to share with you a little bit about who we are and what we do at Stop Soldier Suicide. One of the things that I always remind people of is we really believe that we bring our whole selves to our life, to our work, to our communities, to our dinner table, and that if we do approach people with just a little bit more grace and compassion, I think that will go a long way, especially when we're having these potentially really challenging conversations. So a quick background just about who we are at Stop Soldier Suicide. I know there are a couple people that also are in this space on the call. One statistic that just shook me to my core when I was interviewing for this role was that that veterans are now, it's actually 53%, but that are 53% more likely to die by suicide than their non-veteran counterparts. That was just jaw-dropping to me. And that unfortunately, more than 6,000 veterans die by suicide each year. And then I think the third one, because this, no longer am I in this age range, but looking back at what I experienced in life from 18 to 34 as a civilian, to think that that was, the population that was at the highest risk to die by suicide, and thinking about what I had the opportunity to experience in my teens and in my 20s and in my early 30s, all of these statistics were just motivating me that much more to work for an organization that their sole focus was to fight this epidemic and come up with solutions. We're an incredibly solution-based organization. Our mission is to reduce service member and veteran suicide. Kind of says it all in the name. Our vision has never wavered. We want to create a nation where no veteran or service member is at any greater risk to die by suicide than any other American. And in order to create that vision and bring that vision to life, our goal is to reduce military suicide by 40% no later than 2030. And that will bring military suicide to match national parity. So kind of going back to bringing our vision to being is a nation where no veteran or service member is at any greater risk to die by suicide than their non-veteran counterparts. So this just shows a brief overview of our organization. We were founded in 2010 by 3 Army veterans who unfortunately experienced suicide, both while they were active duty and then when they retired. And they saw a need for resources, and they need a need for giving people somewhere to go to get help. I think we all kind of come from that same vein of, we just want to know what resources are available so we can get people the right help that they need. And Stop Soldier Suicide was created out of that need. Over the last decade, we've really transformed and evolved into a completely, in-house trauma-informed care clinical approach to suicide prevention and intervention. So we went from being a volunteer-driven organization to now over 60 full-time employees, with roughly 65 to 70% of those employees being clinicians or mental health care professionals that work one-on-one with our clients who are, again, active duty or veterans who are at risk for suicide. What makes us different? I think a lot of my presentations and a lot of people I meet, similar to those of you on the call might be wondering, there are over 43,000 veteran service organizations, and a fair amount of them, their missions are to fight the suicide epidemic in the military community. So what makes Stop Soldier Suicide so different? Our CEO, Chris Ford, is mentioned he was mentioned on a previous slide. He always says, we're a business with a tax advantage, and we attack our problem, what we want to solve, with such tenacity and such aggressiveness that is usually only found, with entrepreneurs. And we take that entrepreneurial mindset into a nonprofit and into a serving mission. So we use suicide intelligence, so innovative techniques to better identify those who need our services. We do have a project now that I'd be happy to brief anyone on later, but it's taking decedent devices that are donated by lost survivors, family members, and we're partnering with Amazon Web Services in order to de-identify that data and understand, what was the digital footprint of the individual who unfortunately died by suicide, and are there, similarities among the data of, right now we have 50 different lost survivor families engaged in the program, and what can we learn from that? Are there other predictive behaviors that we can learn? Are there other warning signs that we can then educate the public on and educate our staff on, so that our mental health care professionals and clinicians are even more attuned to hearing certain phrases or responses to questions, so that we can be on more of an alert if someone is at a higher risk to die by suicide. Second is through innovative client acquisition. 70% of our clients come to us because they have seen an advertisement either on their social media channels or through any gaming platform. They don't necessarily raise their hand. As we all know, stigma is real, and we need to address it head on, but we try and meet people where they are. We want to find the people that don't want to be found. And for now, 70% of our clients are coming through our marketing efforts. As I mentioned earlier, our trauma-informed care. We have a group of scientific advisory council who are really the best in class suicidologists. To be transparent, I didn't even know suicidology was an education practice, if you will. I had no idea it was an industry all on its own, but we have the best, and they're partnering with our staff in order to constantly reevaluate our approach to care and making adjustments where and when needed. This slide I find to be so incredibly motivating, that in 2021 we believe that we saved 147 lives. We believe that there are 147 individuals who are here today because of the service that we provided at Stop Soldier Suicide. While we're sure there are many more, and while we do have, roughly to date, right now we have 1,500 active clients that our wellness coordinators and mental health care professionals are working with, everyone comes to us on a different, on the suicide spectrum at a different point. Some are low risk, medium risk, high risk. We believe that through really intense assessments that our high risk clients, those are the ones that we say at the end of the day, we don't believe they would be here without us. So in 2021, we are proud to say that we saved 147 lives. I believe it could be more, but again, we kind of go back to our model that our CEO takes in the approach, is that we're very conservative when we talk about the lives saved, but the impact is great. So this is just a quick slide of how we fundraise money. I'm not going to go into this because we're all kind of, I think, development professionals and fundraisers at heart. But I will say what also fuels our mission is partnerships with the community. And one of the aspects of our program is we do have a resource and referral department that connects clients to resources in their community that go beyond mental health. I know there's been a lot of talk today about housing. Food scarcity is also a pretty significant issue that we battle with our clients. And frankly, kind of going back to what I said at the beginning, bringing your whole self to work, our clients bring their whole self to our program. And we understand kind of in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, if your basic needs aren't being met, you are not going to do you're not going to be vulnerable in order to do the work, in order to get better, and in order to lead a happier and healthier life as it pertains to your mental health. So if a client is struggling with housing needs, we have an entire department at our organization that connects them with local resources to help them with housing. I know I'm unsure who the gentleman was who spoke earlier about electricity, or if your lights aren't on and you don't have, your apartment's not warm, you're not going to want to talk to someone about your mental health. We make connections to local programs that can support the veterans need from a holistic standpoint. So that's also why I'm really excited to be here today and to connect with all of you, because I do think there's so much overlap and so much synergy where we can take a holistic approach to helping and supporting the military community. So that is it, Fallon. Obviously, I welcome all questions. I know we're kind of running up against time, but if anybody does want to connect after this, my email is Jenny, JENNY, .Siler, SILER, at StopSoldierSuicide.org, and I would absolutely welcome any conversations after this, especially if it leads to making more connections and, again, to being able to serve our clients and the military community better.
All right, thank you so much for that, Jenny. And if anyone has any questions, like I said, we're coming on 10 minutes of time, but thank you so much for your work and all your efforts did. One thing that really I liked about Stop Soldier Suicide is just, a lot of times as veterans, when you call the VA, you're waiting on different terms of care. So this is just another asset to, add to our toolboxes. If you have a veteran experiencing any type of suicidal ideations, SI, or just, need coping skills or whatever, so it's a really good resource for all of us to know.
Yeah, and thank you for that, Fallon. One thing I will say, we are not affiliated with the VA or the DoD, so a lot of conversations stem around, if I raise my hand, what is that going to mean for my career? Especially active duty, that are afraid that is going to be just a mark on their record and that a promotion is not going to be granted, or that they're going to really sacrifice their career. And we offer, again, it's free services to any veteran or service member, and it is 100% confidential.
Hey, Fallon, can I make a suggestion? This is Walter Elmore. If I could just say this real quick, there's a plethora of information that's on this conference call, and it's valuable information, but it's just so much information. Is there a way that your office can compile all this information and send it out to us?
Well, you have the points of communication and their things as well too, and I'll make sure that I give you Chris's information too to forward all the necessary documents. But you
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And Walter, while you're talking, you can go ahead and move forward with the events that you had sent me as well.
Okay, very, very quickly, I just wanted to let folks know, as you can see what's on the screen, this is Access Housing's upcoming holiday schedule. One, we're having a turkey donation that's going to start on October 31st through November 21st. We're going to be doing the Winter Haven at the VA Medical Center. Winter Haven is back in person. As you know, they took a break for the COVID for 2 years. Now they're back in person. And one of the things that I am pushing is the Walk in Their Footsteps new boot and shoe collection, where we collect new boots and shoes to provide to our female and our male veterans and their families. So we're doing that collection now. If you or your organization wants to purchase boots, the VA will come and pick the boots up from your location, wherever you are in the metropolitan area. The information is on the flyer as to who you call if you want the boots to be picked up, as well as the dates. We're also having a Thanksgiving dinner for our veterans on Tuesday, November the 22nd, from 3 to 5. We have the National Football League Retired Players Association. They are helping us and assisting us with this Thanksgiving dinner. And not only do we feed our veterans that are housed at Access Housing, but if you have a veteran at your organization who would like to partake in the Thanksgiving dinner, they're welcome. And last but not least, we're having our Thanksgiving Day, not Thanksgiving Day, but our Veterans Day ceremony is going to take place this year on Tuesday, November the 8th from 11 to 12 at 820 Chesapeake Street. So those are the events that we're going to be doing over the holiday. And thank you, Fallon, for giving me the opportunity to put that information out there.
You're welcome. And also, Walter, do you mind if I share your email as well too? If they want to follow up questions? Okay.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So it's W, and I'll put it in the chat box WELMORE at accesshousinginc.com. And what he does, Walter has an access list, and you can just get your email added to it.
Is it possible to make this thing full screen?
No, we're having difficulty issues because we're trying to do it hybrid, so it's not able to do both.
I go every month
Yeah.
and I put these monthly meetings on my YouTube channel.
Yeah, hold on,
if
Robert,
you want to meet
please.
after.
We'll talk about that later. Okay, and the next thing we have is Veterans Curation Project, where we're talking about any individuals looking forward to getting into this. Gabby and was on the call as well too, but they do have a website, veteranscurationprogram.com, and all of these can be also found on the website too.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then tomorrow we're gonna have at Georgia Avenue, it's gonna be Saturday, excuse me. Saturday, we're doing an event, Come Out. It's going to be geared around just district individuals providing services from a variety amount. So just come out and join us. It's gonna shut down the entire Georgia Avenue. And then on October 21st, we're gonna have our Veterans Day panel, focused on women veterans panel.
Georgia, at what time?
It starts at 9 a.m.
The women's panel?
Oh, it said Georgia Avenue.
Oh, Georgia.
But you can go to openstreetsdc.com to get that information as well. DDOT is running
Yep, and then our next roundtable will be on October 27th, the last, and it's gonna focus on women veterans. And then another thing too, if we have any other community members from the LGBTQI veterans population, there's a weekly chat going on as well, so please feel free to tell your allies to join. Okay, and if any questions and answers? We have 4 minutes, so you can go ahead and go.
Can you ask Mr. Walter to put his contact information in the chat?
Yeah, I put it in there for him.
Yeah, I just logged in, so it doesn't show up for me because I logged in after you put it in there.
Like I said, I come to the monthly meetings and I put these on my YouTube channel. So under the playlist of monthly meeting, Mayor's Office monthly meeting. I wanted to talk about the Vets Ride program. So when I talked to Nicole at the taxi place, she said there's been as many as 90 rides a month or as few as 2. So
The medium rides are 12 that we've seen versus the 16 that we capped with the unlimited. That's been the medium. We're not going to raise it once the cap goes off. It's going to.
Well, I wanted to know what it covered. Is that for work or is it just medical
It's everything
appointments?
that's listed on the consent form: medical appointments, grocery, food distributions, and interviews.
Oh, okay. So not like actually works. Because I had 2 of my young men, my son and his best buddy, that were placed, one in Access Housing and one in U.S. Vets.
Robin, do you mind if
Go
I
ahead.
take the last 3 minutes to close this up for me, please?
Go ahead.
Thank you. So like I said, I just want everyone to understand we're trying to accommodate both individuals who don't feel comfortable coming back in on the virtual environment and also in person. So please bear with us as we try to handle things as well too, along with serving our veteran community. So, today's roundtable, we wanted to make sure everyone was highlighted as well as everyone on the call had the time to speak. So these meetings are really for information to put it out there as well too. When it comes to like private specific issues, it's kind of hard to be able to handle everyone's issue at the same time. So we recommend just everyone at the end getting everyone's emails, exchanging it on that platform as well too. So. Yeah, I just want to say thank you for everyone's time. Thank y'all for coming. We try to do our best to make sure that you know about resources, and please feel free to grab my card on the way out as well too. All right. Thank you for everyone on the virtual platform. Like I was saying earlier, please get everyone's email address and reach out for more resources as well too, and sign up for our newsletter to ensure you have everything as well.
I don't have a card, but I can give you all my information. I can write it down here if you like. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, sorry about that.
And, yeah, so if there's any other veterans that we can give a contact, or renters' rights, let us know.
Well, I think the biggest thing is like when they're still in the transitional housing, understanding their laws. US Vets is just cranking that up. Yeah.
I'm writing it down.
Well, yeah, so.
Like, I recognize his name because that is the perfect opportunity to get people.
And then Clifton from over at US Vets.
Well, actually, I'm not even giving you
Okay, gotcha. Okay, yeah, send me an email.
Gotcha.
And you Google that and you find me all over. I'm the only one. I got off of LinkedIn and a lot of other sites. A lot of garbage. It's a lot of garbage. Yeah. And DC's if you know community, and I don't think that. Well, I don't. It should not be. Hi, I remember seeing you, but I'm not remembering where.
I'm sort of new to the area, but I've been attending several different types of events.
Yeah. Oh, right, yeah.